Hello, YouTubers, and here is a kitchen countertop review of the Doug Marcaida and Bastinelli Creations knives, joint venture of a few years ago. I think it's about 5 or 6 years old, on the Bastinelli Picoeur, Picoeur. It's a little micro knife, kind of a little Picoeur, FMA, Filipino martial arts style blade. I wanted to like it, and I will review it briefly, tell you why I'm sending it back, and some of the reasons what I didn't like about it. So, I'm more of a folding knife person. I'm not really that into little belt knives and things like that. So it's a nice product. Here it comes. You've got your wrapping. This is the sheath that it comes in, Kydex. Very nice, pretty high quality. It cost me about $140 on Amazon, so not cheap. I think it retails anywhere from about $130, realistically speaking, to about $180. It's not a cheap product for Bastinelli Creations. And here is the Picoeur itself. So basically it's the Picoeur style. It's meant to be a self-defense knife. You can also use it as a utility knife. It's meant to be sort of like a backup weapon, for you mall ninjas out there that always are, concealed carrying and need a quick backup weapon. Long story short, it's very sharp. It's a nice blade. It's very well made, full tang, single cast steel. But it's very small. And in my hands, I've got large size hands. It's relatively small. So it's a lot smaller than I thought. Could you use it for self-defense? Sure. But you could use a pair of scissors, a small pair of those sharp little curved nail scissors, or, like the Ed's Manifesto, Elvia, which was apparently based, Ed Calderon, who made that knife, made it a Picoeur style thing, based on, his Aunt Elvia's paring knife, which is, cheap, common. You can buy them at any grocery store, hardware store, in a little plastic camshell case. So, it's supposed to be a little backup self-defense blade. It does give you a lot of cutting power. It's just too small for me. And as with everything, the weakest link in a chain weakest thing in a chain is the weakest link, and that tip is super small. If you see there, super small tip. And guys, this is unedited. I'm just doing this. I'm on my way out. I'm about to return this. And so, super small, super thin. So really, if you actually, used it to any real utility purpose other than very small cutting, you're gonna chip that tip. You're gonna break that tip pretty easily. I would see even cutting boxes eventually. If you have a really thick box, thicker, cheap, crumbly cardboard the way they are now, they're not even full real cardboard anymore, you're going to dull that tip pretty quickly. So, it comes with the sheath. The sheath is decent. It's Kydex. It's well fit. It does have a pretty tight fit. You wind up carving out some of the Kydex when you put the tip in. Sometimes a little Kydex comes out. What I don't like is the ulti-clip. I've never been a fan of ulti-clips. Maybe some people who know how to use them better than I do. I'm more into just traditional belt clips, something more functional, or like a tech lock. But the ulti-clip, it's very small. You can only clip it to certain, you can't clip it to a belt. You can definitely clip it into a pocket, but I find honestly, as someone who's carried knives for 25, 30 years, as someone who's trained Kali and other Filipino martial arts, including Marine Corps combatives, and back in the day trained a little bit with Kelly McCann and his, very whittled down, very practical knife curriculum. If you're trying to pull, honestly, if you're under pressure, under duress, gross motor movement, as Kelly says, and you try and grab at this thing in your jean pocket or in your belt, you're gonna hopefully get the ring and pull it out. There's questions about pulling things from a ring. I had one instructor, Colonel Gerson Tortal, tell us in one class that never put your finger inside the ring of a karambit because they can break your finger. So, depending on Gerson Tortal is Pakiti Tercia Sriratas. So I would assume he knows what he's talking about. He's one of the pedigrees from the Philippines. Bottom line, though, if you're grabbing at this and it's in your pant pocket, chances are, even with the LT clip and even with you pulling it out, unless you're using your other hand, you're gonna wind up pulling the sheath out of your pants with the ring. It's a pretty snug fit, so you're not gonna be pulling the blade out. You're gonna be pulling the sheath with the blade still in it, and you're probably gonna have to do a second hand draw. Put your second hand, your assisting hand, your fending hand, whatever, on the sheath and actually pull it out that way, because it is, as I mentioned, a pretty snug fit, as you can see. That's a pretty hard pull for such a small knife, which is my second problem with it. It's very small to even in index. You could carry it in your pocket as a pocket carry, but then even still, that kind of defeats the purpose of the useless, crappy LT clip. Because then basically you can't draw it one-handed, which is what supposedly Mao Ninja Tactical is supposed to be designed for one-handed. LT clips, I don't know. Again, it's such a small little, maybe I'm a spaz, maybe I'm not the handiest person. I like to think I know how to screw a screw in a M, tech lock or a little LT clip. This thing is just so, it only came with, again, for the money you're paying, $160, $140. It only came with, 2 little washers, 2 little screws, which is, to be honest, what most of them are. But, this little screw didn't fit well, thread well into this little bottom part. And so, now it's kind of stuck there. Again, it's very small. It's very delicate. The weakest part of any thing is the weakest link. And again, the small, delicate, small little screw with a small little hole. It's not a surprise that it gets fouled up when you're trying to put a little pressure on it. So those are just some of the things, in terms of self-defense, if you kind of think about it, if you compare it to a way better type of a knife, which is the Shivworks Barracuda. This, I don't have a tech clip on it. I've just got a regular pocket clip. I think I just bought it off eBay or Amazon. This is a practical knife. It pulls out very quickly. If you've got this clipped on, you can very easily deploy it with one hand. It's a good sheath. Bigger threading, bigger holes. Not as tight in the sheath. It's a better blade. It's also a Picoeur style. Or, well, this isn't really Picoeur, but this is more of a Picoeur style, meant to be used the reverse grip. This handle, meant to grab it, pull it out. So you can see that. I think this is a way better knife. Thick stock. That tip could still break on you, of course, but it's probably less apt to break than this thing. To give you an idea of how big it is, this is the Combat Troodon. So that's about a 4-inch blade. So that gives you an idea how small it is. Again, the smallness is an advantage But that's really about it. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments. Like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more off-the-cuff type tabletop reviews, raw and unfiltered. I'll probably try and do some more filtered, edited type commentaries. But that's it. That's pretty well it. The Bastinelli Doug Marcaida Picoeur, not a fan. Nicely made, not worth the money. Better options if you're into that sort of small Picoeur type little small belt knife, pocket knife, whatever. Pocket tactical mall ninja knife. Try the Shivworks by South Narc. Craig Douglas. And yeah, that's all I got today. Thanks.